say definitively that religions are all bullshit.
Welcome to Brainstorm.
We have the explicit tag for a reason.
This is a base level argument to a higher level of morality.
I get paid to science?
To science as much as one can science.
What the hell was my point?
Trigger warning. The Brainstorm podcast will criticize your most cherished beliefs. We attack nonsense in all its forms and discuss difficult subjects. If you peddle pseudoscience, supernatural woo, or religious dogma, then this is not your safe place. This is the home of hardcore skepticism.
Oh God, Corey's gone. What do we do?
Kill time, kill time, kill time.
All right,
God.
we're back with David Smalley. No, that was another episode.
Oh, shit.
Who do we need? We need somebody to call in. Somebody be on our show.
And Christopher Hitchens is on the line.
Hey, let's talk to Nathan.
There's, that's something we should set up, like almost as a total gag, just for the, I don't know, have a psychic medium channeling Christopher Hitchens.
Oh my God.
That's how you get listeners right there. We've solved the problem.
Couldn't you see that if we could find a way to professionally produce something,
maybe.
funny
that's
gag like
a good
that?
idea. But instead of Hitchens, because we respect Hitchens, let's do the Pope. Let's do Matthew.
Sylvia Brown.
No. Judas.
Yeah.
He's pretty badass.
Well, I was just thinking, because the irony of the fact that you're psychically, channeling a guy that did not believe in any of that bullshit, that would have been funny. But
we could channel people that didn't exist. That's even better.
That could be funny. There is some possibilities in that.
We could actually have that as a segment in the show.
You could actually invite a real medium.
Well, see,
and
the thing is
tell
we
them what they're getting into and just see what happens.
Yeah, just question them.
What we need to do is get that thing that Angela signed us up for, that psychic course.
Oh, that's right.
If we can get our certifications, then we can psychically
We could
channel.
take calls.
Yeah. We could do something.
Then we could take calls.
We could be the skeptic
beyond.
mediums.
The skeptic mediums.
That's a new show.
That is a show. Yeah, seriously, somebody write that down. This is an entire new format for another show.
New show for
Copyright
sure.
Brainstorm podcast.
2016. All rights reserved.
All rights reserved. All right. Let's do some
It's
educational
all right on the
stuff.
reserve.
Some edumacation.
Some edumacation.
I can't get my head around
for
this.
dummies?
It's just
Yes.
education for dummies.
Okay, here we go.
You just called our listeners dummies.
Some edumacation.
Thanks,
for
Hillary.
dummies.
If you're not daily walking in a place of relationship to God, then the news that we have to bring you is that you're on your way to hell right now.
Oh, you're barking up the wrong tree, Meg. I'm an atheist.
I suspect that the Pope is an atheist.
I don't believe in God.
Brian doesn't believe in God. Brian doesn't believe in God.
He believes in dog.
So this
Talking
was...
dog does believe in God.
The dyslexic medium.
All right. Atheism for Dummies, part 17.
There's a lot of atheism for
The
dummies.
never-ending segment.
The never-ending segment. This is the fifth part of
Fun
our
with
apologetics.
flags, part 27.
Every episode is apologetic.
We're sorry we suck.
We're so sorry.
We are so Canadian.
We're so Canadian.
I didn't mean to.
We're a podcast. We could change if we have to. We guess.
Where's the Timbits?
Okay. So this is
Dead air.
High five for being
I'm
prepared.
just trying. Biblical inerrancy is the issue.
This one I tried reading about and I totally went cross-eyed.
That's because it's tough to get through.
Oh.
Because there's people who nitpick the difference between inerrancy and infallible.
Yeah, I think that's the part that made me go cross-eyed.
And I don't quite because it's not a thing. It's
basically the difference is one can't be wrong, the other one isn't.
Yes, that's right.
That's the basics of it.
That's the basics of it.
And that's where I went cross-eyed.
Yeah. So what do I got? I got
Okay, not so Professor Corey. Explain the difference.
Well, there is no difference.
Oh, okay.
Gumby just did it.
Okay.
Basically.
Sorry. Next.
Yeah. So I've got biblical apologetics include issues concerned with the authorship and date of the biblical books, biblical canon, and biblical inerrancy. Christian apologists defend and comment on various books of the Bible. Some scholars who have engaged in the defense of biblical inerrancy are Robert Dick. He's a dick.
I was waiting for someone to start giggling.
Hello, dick joke.
That was very Dr. Evil of you.
Gleason.
I don't always have to be the one to do that shit.
Well, it sure helps. Yeah. Gleason
I'm
Archer.
gonna go get my own pocket.
Norman Geisler and R.C. Sproul. Sproul?
Probably Sproul.
Probably Sproul.
Waiting for a Sproul joke.
No. Another dick joke, of course. There are several resources that Christians offer defending the inerrancy in regard to specific verses. Oh, I should say this is from the wiki page for biblical apologetics.
It's whack.
No, wiki.
Wiki whack.
Wiki whack.
It's just wiki. Yeah, it's just wiki. The Skeptics Annotated Bible has a section on inerrancy and errors within the Bible, and Rational Wiki also has a section on biblical literalism versus infallibility.
Maybe we'd have more listeners if we weren't boring.
Or if we could actually, like,
Or if this
pronunciate.
link worked.
If we
You're
could actually
boring.
read and pronunciate what is in front of us.
You're a boring. I'll kill you. My tablet's not working.
I wouldn't do that. It's a Samsung.
Duck and cover. Oh, that could be a terrorist meme. Terrorist. It's like, can't see. I didn't do my typical thing where I go,
No, you didn't. That's now you did. But
Yeah, now you did.
Well, I did that saying that I wasn't.
you did it this
It's okay, we'll edit it and post.
Yeah.
because that's something we do now.
Yeah.
Lazy.
Well, none of my links are working, so
Okay, show's over. Bye.
we'll.
Due to technical difficulties,
the fuck, eh?
it's over.
You know what always works?
No,
Paper.
is that right?
Whatever, you Luddite.
You're the one holding a pen that has paper.
I know. It's called being a hypocrite.
Deal with it.
Deal with it.
It's hip.
It's hypocrite.
Okay, what were you looking up?
I don't know.
Didn't you know what you wrote? Or what you were going to talk about?
No,
No.
Want me to fix it?
no. Let's go on to Skepticism 101.
This is just not working.
So religious apologetics. Sorry.
Just sorry.
Sorry, it's not working.
We're sorry, it's not working.
It's Dave's fault.
Probably.
Damn it, Dave.
That's okay. I guess
Do we have a bumper for Religion 101?
I guess the dummies don't
Skepticism
get
101.
I mean,
educated.
yeah, skip. No.
Atheism for Dummies didn't work this time.
No dummies.
All right, so this is the
What the fuck?
12th logical
Oh, sorry.
fallacy that we've covered. And this is the correlation proves causation fallacy.
Oh, but it doesn't.
Well, but it's a faulty assumption that correlation between two variables implies that one causes the other. Like, vaccines cause autism because correlation. Because somebody gets vaccinated and then they find out their child is autistic.
Because usually autism, the things that show up happen when a child is somewhere between 2.5 and 3.5 normally.
Right.
Which is right after you get your second big set of vaccinations.
Yep. No, exactly.
Indicators. Yeah, that's what
Yes,
it's after.
indicators.
Indicators.
Yeah, so there's an entire site dedicated to correlation causation memes, and like the increase in pirates was correlated with something, cancer or something.
No,
something.
That one's actually legit. So there's been a steady decline in the number of pirates, and that's directly correlated with the increase in the global temperature and global warming.
Ah, that's right.
So the lack of pirates causes global warming.
Yes, that's correct.
You can prove anything, proves anything if you got the right graph.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correlation equals causation.
Yeah, well, they're just parallel graphs, right? That's where they got that from. And the pirate thing comes from Cauldron on the Head.
Pastafarian?
Pastafarians, yeah. Yeah.
I thought it was a different site.
No, yeah, it was the FSMs. I thought.
I don't know. I can no longer remember that one.
Well, I will use my tablet that's working fine. Not going to mention the fact that it's an Apple product.
Apple 1. Other Apple thing, not Apple thing, 0.
And other thing, 0.
I don't know. My tablet's working
Post
fine.
hoc ergo propter hoc is the after this, therefore because of this logical fallacy that states since event Y followed event X, event Y must have been caused by event X. It is often shortened by the simple post hoc fallacy. It is
I'm going to need you to translate that.
It is subtly different from the fallacy cum hoc ergo propter hoc, because that's with this, therefore because of this, in which two things or events occur simultaneously, or the ordering is insignificant or unknown. What is...
That's me giving you the finger because there's the website.
I don't think they created that, though.
No, they did.
I don't think so.
You don't have to think so. It'd still be wrong.
Well, additionally, that doesn't prove that they created it. Jeez, man. So, either way, the fallacy is that if one thing follows another, then the first thing must have caused the second thing.
Can you give me a ridiculous example?
A ridiculous example. If
being Chilean makes you fat. Dave's Chilean, and he's fat.
And I'm pretty hot and tempting.
No, that's not correlation. It's causation.
a ridiculous example is the pirates and climate change.
Oh, okay. There we go. The pirates went down, and climate change, it warmed up. Therefore,
pirates decrease in pirates created the increase in temperature.
So what we need is more pirates, and then we can.
And then the temperature will go down.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which is why it's a fallacy, at least partially, right?
Yeah.
Because that's not helpful.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the puffy shirts does anything to
No, that's right. So that's the logical fallacy of the week. I know Leo particularly wanted to talk about this one, but he's not here this week.
Damn it, Leo.
Damn it, Leo.
So too effing bad for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So I guess we might as well. We can do our.
To be fair, if you count Somalia, there are probably more pirates now than there were in the 1500s.
Oh, I see.
But now it's not global warming; it's climate change.
Right.
Yeah, but these pirates are less interesting. They don't have pig legs and cool hats.
Some of them probably have peg legs.
That's true. That's true. They probably don't sing sea shanties.
They got less flair. Definitely
less flair.
Yeah.
Someone needs to bring back the traditional pirate.
Traditional pirate.
Some hipster group.
I think that the traditional pirate is a myth, isn't it?
Maybe.
No.
I think so. I think that much of the traditional pirate thing that we think of as pirates,
like Tortuga and everything. That was all.
No, that was real.
No,
it was all real.
The puffy shirts, the swashbuckling on ships, and the duels and whatnot. That's all myth.
Well, the walking the plank is bullshit, but actually a lot of it was done, but it's for the same thing. It was all fucking PR.
Walking the plank would have been much preferable than getting keel-hauled.
Yeah, I guess. No, like a lot of it was, I wouldn't say true, but there's more truth to it than fiction, I think.
Well, they were all privateers, right?
Yeah, they were all privateers.
From what I remember, most of our modern ideas about pirates was created by Hollywood.
Well, I can see, yes. Although there were some elements were true, but for same reason it was creating myth.
Is that less Hollywood or more like authors? Did authors create the modern?
To my understanding, it was actually the movies that created the
Errol Flynn thing.
Yeah, the Errol Flynn type.
Yeah.
The swinging swashbuckling type pirates.
They were the original mafia. It was a business. It was a business.
Yes.
Most pirate ships were truly more democratic than.
Is that right?
Yeah. If the captain didn't bring them enough. They voted his ass off. They didn't necessarily leave him on an island with a single shot.
That would be tough to survive.
Yeah, but because the single shot was for yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, come on, Corey. You got to watch Pirates of the Caribbean. Pay attention.
Also, Nathan says, "Damn it, Leo," as well. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we need a picture of that and someone send it to Leo's phone.
Yeah, see, Nathan says they've been romanticized just like Vikings and ninjas.
According to Pastafarian beliefs, pirates are absolutely divine beings. And the original Pastafarians, furthermore, Pastafarians believe that the concept of pirates as thieves and outcasts is misinformation spread by Christian theologians, in the Middle Ages, and by Hare Krishnas. They were peace-loving explorers and spreaders of goodwill.
And to bring us back to that previous thing, actually, Vikings were kind of pirates in themselves.
Right.
I mean, I think Vikings and pirates are more real than ninjas were, but that's a different argument.
Yeah.
The inclusion of pirates in Pastafarianism was part of Henderson's original letter to the Kansas State Board of Education.
Oh, jeez.
In an effort to illustrate that correlation does not imply causation, Henderson presented the argument that global warming, earthquakes, hurricanes, and other natural disasters are a direct effect of the shrinking number of pirates since the 1800s.
Nice. Very nice.
Can I say fuck you now?
This is an excellent full circle.
You can say, Corey, yes, you were wrong, and I have the evidence right here.
Okay, yeah, so fuck you.
no, fuck you. That's what I say.
Joe Boo.
What's
that from?
I don't know.
I say, fuck you, Joe Boo. Yeah.
I don't know. You got weird references.
That's a baseball movie.
Baseball.
What's baseball?
You can't play that.
Wild Thing.
Charlie Sheen?
Yeah.
Major League.
Yeah, that was a dude that sacrificed a chicken before every game so he could hit home runs, but couldn't hit a curveball.
Was that the dude that sacrificed the chicken, or was he just in the same movie as the dude who sacrificed the chicken?
No, he was a dude that sacrificed a chicken. They made him stop doing that so he would have a bucket of KFC that he would give to Joe Boo, who was the god that he kept in his...
I don't think Wild Thing, because Wild Thing was Charlie Sheen's
was
character.
the pitcher. Yeah. They're not the same guy. The guy that said, fuck you, Joe Boo, is the guy that sacrificed the chickens.
Okay.
To his god, who he kept, his voodoo god that he kept in his cage.
And for that interesting bit of
locker.
Useless movie trivia
for $200, Alex.
That's a new segment on the show.
Useless movie trivia.
Useless movie trivia.
Yeah.
Connected somehow to religiosity.
Hey, you guys.
Well, thanks, Nathan, for still listening. I can't believe you're still listening.
Yeah,
you get a high five for your high tolerance
and a refund.
Speaking of useless religious movie references, new Ben-Hur surprisingly did not do well because, of course, it didn't.
Surprisingly, yeah, it didn't do
Stupid
well.
Hollywood. Nobody wants religious movies anymore. Besides, like a niche group of people.
Yeah, the Christians, the hardcore Christians do, but
yeah.
That's why you have God's Not Dead Part 2.
Yeah, that's right.
Having said that, I do love Noah because I love that filmmaker, but that's for different reasons.
Oh, okay.
I was
It's an interesting
mildly
story.
entertained by Noah.
Yeah, he treated it like a fantasy. Like he didn't.
So we're talking about heavy metal and Christians. What about that band where the one dude was just outed as being gay?
Judas Priest? You're 20 years too late.
No. I don't know the name of the band. We were having a conversation about it on Facebook the other day. There's a Christian. Well, they don't even. They're not even known as a Christian band. It's just a lot of them are very Christian. But their drummer's an atheist. He's an outspoken atheist. And
I don't remember.
Well, it was a conversation we were having. I think with Callie was in it. Callie Wright.
I can't remember.
I'm just going to look up the name of the band while you guys keep talking.
Except we have nothing to talk about.
Talk. Nerd out.
Nerd out.
Nerd out.
Nerds.
If you like what we're doing and want to help us keep the lights on, go become a patron at patreon.com/brainstorm podcast. You can hear the bonus half hour that we record every episode and get a shout out when you support the show. Become a patron for just $1 an episode at patreon.com/brainstorm podcast. Or you can support the show by ordering a t-shirt, mug or other gear from our store at caffeepress.ca/brainstorm podcast gear. If you can't afford to become a patron or buy gear, then why not give us a rating or write a review on iTunes or Stitcher? Every rating makes it easier for people to find us. Thanks for your support.
We are given one life, full of billions of small and large decisions. To be somebody, to change, to be kind, to give hope, to become a better person, and to leave a lasting impact on this planet. It is a decision to be made every single day while your heart is still beating. We've made our decision. Absence of Clothing, atheist and science-based apparel and merchandise, donating 50% of our profits to charity. Look good and feel good, without God. Check us out at absenceofclothing.com and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest for discount codes and other sweet swag.
Use the code BRAINSTORM at absenceofclothing.com and get 10% off.
My name is Jonathan Ariola of TDTF Pod. The more voices you hear, the more we observe and feel, the more we learn about the other facets of this complex and wondrous beast that is humanism and free thought. Join me on the science-loving journey through topics like justice, murder, family, diligence, taste, history, society, race, boob jobs, law, addiction, video games, fear, sacrifice, children. Wait, not sacrificing children, that's not what I meant. Bring the popcorn and watch me break down the issues too deep, too fast. Join me at TDTF Pod. I'm Jonathan Ariola. Talk to you soon.
Okay, here's something that I was
DC
going to
sucks.
save. I was going to save for the bonus content, but we can do it now.
There is no bonus in this episode.
The idea that intellectual honesty means you have to read every article that somebody sends you.
No.
I've been accused multiple times lately of lacking intellectual honesty because I won't look at a particular source, or I already think that I've learned the argument that somebody is putting forward.
That's valid, though. Like that. You're right.
I want to clear this up a little bit.
Isn't that kind of getting into that whole?
Do we have to read every article that somebody sends us?
No, and this has been talked about many times. If your position on a topic, you've already researched it, and there's no accepted evidence to the contrary that's accepted by, where you actually get good information from.
Right.
So peer-reviewed papers, whatever. If there's nothing that's been published speaking to the contrary, no, you don't have to read it. And if it's an article from fucking Natural News, there's no. If that's where it's published, it's already known as a publication that has no proper bearing on anything. Why is they're not a legit source?
I think what it is there's was that false equivalency,
right?
I think that's becoming a thing because the internet has so much information. Everyone thinks they've got the chair shot,
right?
Well, one thing that Stephen Novella has talked about, and I wanted to actually get into with him because it actually makes a lot of sense. Is we talk about. Or we take a position on something from what we've reasoned out. And a lot of times we'll get into conversation with, say, a religious person, right? It's not that they're less logical than we are. They're just starting with a different base set of assumptions than we are. So telling them that they're arbitrarily wrong based on their base set of arguments is helping them argue against us. It's not helping us reach them on a better level. And it's the same thing with publicated stuff, or published stuff. If it doesn't have a source that's reasonable for both sides to accept as valid, it has no bearing.
Then you can't,
because both sides have to accept it.
Right.
Like something that's written in a journal or the New England Journal of Medicine, nobody's going to dispute.
Well, except people do. And that's where part of the problem lies, right? Because people actually deny that science has the right answers, or that research methodology of mainstream science is the right.
Yeah, I don't understand where this has come from. This whole it's weird. We're getting into really deep, actual intellectual. Yeah, but
we're going to release this as the main show.
Yeah, but
everything else said is bonus content.
Quick, make a dick joke.
Yeah,
quick make a dick joke.
Where where it used to be when they came out, I'm a scientist, this is our scientific study, this is our scientific results, everyone would be like, oh, okay. But somehow in the last, say, 20, 30 years, it's become the internet, because of whack jobs.
Everybody's an expert.
Yeah, everyone's an expert. Everyone's good. What's that saying used to be? And everyone has opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one, But now it's become like, if someone comes out, I'm a scientist and this is my study, this is my results, this is my findings, everyone goes, well, way to go, big science, and dismisses it, and I don't understand it because they have their pet little ideas, I've got my natural thing, and because I know nature is just good, and it seems to be from this argument a lot of this kind of stuff comes from, I don't understand why, somewhere along the line.
I don't.
It used to be, if it's a big company, it was a name you could trust.
Right.
And somehow along the lines, if it's big,
it went the other way.
You can't, I mean, I can think of a few examples of where that trust got eroded, but,
Right. Nathan says, he's been debating a creationist friend for over the last 2 years, and his posts are generally in the thousands of words, and there's no way he could keep up with everything he sends me, but I try to skim everything at least. Well, but do you have to, in a sense?
Well, that's a
because
problem.
I mean, creationism is wrong.
There's a point where it's like where they just go, they're just going to, if they can't dazzle you with brilliance, they're going to bury you in bullshit. And I don't know, like that's the problem though. They want you to look at everything they got, and by sheer volume, see.
Yeah, that's right. It's the Gish Gallop is what it is.
You know, if you dismiss it, then they're just like, well, fuck, you're just dismissing my entire argument, and you're just not going to listen to me. And
my ignorance is just as good as your knowledge.
Yeah.
Well, and that's just it. Like, I mean, okay, so
here's what it boils down to: you have the right to your opinion. You don't have the right to be wrong.
No, you have the right to be wrong.
No. You have the right to your opinion. But if somebody gives you evidence against what your opinion is, you no longer have the right to be wrong because you have the actual evidence. And that's just it. People aren't willing to change their position. And those are the people that don't understand how science works. They think that the scientific method is just written in stone and this is the truth of the matter once it's resolved. They don't understand that science is the most pliable thing there is. And it's constantly variable and changing.
Well, and too often you get the argument, well, science was wrong about X way back in the day, and it changed its mind, as though that's some kind of weakness.
Yeah, because I kind of got dragged in that argument with Jerry one time, and like I didn't want a response because I knew that was a quagmire.
Right.
But that's the whole point of science.
Yeah, it changes.
So if you're in school and you're being taught something, and you take a test, and your answer to 5 times 5 is 20.
You're wrong.
But you better stick to your guns forever. So from now on, 5 times 5 is 20. Based on new evidence, you don't get to change your mind.
And I think where it gets murky is because how science evolved over the centuries. Because like for the longest time, science was scientists before they weren't really called that, but they were kind of patrons of the church, and that's where it gets murky. But that was like 400, 500, 600 fucking years ago. Like,
right,
a lot has changed since then, you know. And I think where it needs to be is like you can have your religion, fine, but you can't make your religion science. And I think that's where the problem is because they're, you know, like I've been listening to a lot of them talking about the Ark, the Ark experience, like listening on different podcasts, and they're jumping through so many hoops to try to cram creationism into this concept of evolution and stuff.
Well,
it's just stupid.
That's again where you walk into media, right? Because media is popularizing opinions, and they're galvanizing people based on what people think. Like Dr. fucking Oz. You know, they take his shit as gold when it's shit.
Well, that's the thing is everyone seems to get this idea of, well, I know what I feel is right. Well, no, you can't feel what is right. You have to know what is right.
You can blame the boomers for that.
We can blame the boomers for fucking a lot of things.
Everything,
much. Yeah.
My favorite's one I read today, how do you confuse a boomer? Crash the economy, raise the price of houses way too high, and don't retire until you're 75, and then blame them for not being in the workforce.
Yeah.
But that's just it. It's like with your saying about, you know, the people, they just can't, you know, with their argument, they just bury you in shit.
Yeah, and
because I know I've had that, or got into that argument years ago with Jerry over climate change, and
well, that's the thing too. And then he'll send you an article or a link to some fucking talk
after Googling it and reading through the first like 80 results.
And you're supposed to just...
No, just he'll skim the top 80 results until he finds one that agrees.
But mind you, that's also how Jerry just functions. But
that's how most of those type of people function.
Yeah. And he treats it like it's a chair shot. See, I'm right. Mic drop. And it's like, no.
Bob
almost...
from Kansas he's a plumber.
Yeah.
His opinion piece on the melting of the caps.
Yeah, his opinion article means nothing.
Well, no, it depends on how it's written. If it's written and it makes sense and it's cognizant and it's backed up by facts.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you don't have to be a climatologist
that's true.
to be right.
As long as you're in concordant with the evidence. But if you are
if Alex Jones agrees with you,
yeah, well, that's just it. Like I said that, and
it's true.
Then people get like all defensive, like because one time they agreed with Alex Jones.
You look at Alex Jones. No, he's probably right. Hey, fuck, donuts are delicious. Look, the fat fuck. Cheeseburgers are pretty good. Yeah. Once again, look at the fat fuck.
I agree. Cheeseburgers are.
So he's not. He won't be wrong 100% of the time.
Right.
Yeah. 95% of the time.
95% of the time, he's wrong every time. Dave's not talking. Dave, we got.
I don't know.
What do you got, man?
I'm absorbing. I'm thinking.
He's pondering.
Has anybody
Looks like you've
accused
done lots
you
of
of
absorbing.
intellectual dishonesty?
In some ways, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm fairly open to things, even though I think they're bullshit. But I don't know. It's hard to say. But then again, I just don't have time to look at shit. That's like
well, and that's part of the problem too, because we all have a limited time to absorb whatever information we can get. And I find it much easier to read some articles than others. Like just the way they're written makes them easier to absorb.
I don't have. I mean, I guess I'm the kind of person who doesn't have a lot of strong opinions on things because I'm not an expert on many things, and it's not that I don't think I should have an opinion on them or not opinion, but I guess
that's just it. I'm not
a feeling.
You know, like things like climate change. I'm not a meteorologist. I don't have the time to look into it. But if I read an article that says 97, 98% of the scientists say it's a thing, I'll go.
Yeah, like I mean,
it's probably a thing.
You dig into it enough to have like some kind of basis for it. Yeah, and that's what I mean. I guess I'm not gonna like I was talking earlier outside about like I can argue for hours about. The economic impact of the film industry and and I understand all the stats, right? But I couldn't argue for hours about like the environmental impact of a pipeline. But I understand that does have some. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean by that?
Right,
it's like,
right. Yeah.
Like you have a position, but it's not.
Yeah, like I mean when it comes to
firm.
When it comes to stuff like like pipelines, I have an opinion on pipelines, but honestly, I don't know shit enough to really.
When something else struck a chord just now, when you said like 97% of scientists agree that climate change is a thing.
Yeah.
You have to be careful with how shit's worded too. Because, 97% of scientists. And then Jerry will be like, oh, look, the other three don't agree. Yeah, they're not climatologists.
Yeah, because I know he's done that once before where he see this guy, and I'm just like, well, that guy is a statistician. Like
this other guy's a pediatrician.
Yeah, like I mean,
and that guy's a dentist.
Yeah,
what the
fuck? Well, and I guess I can speak from like I'm not a social scientist in the literal sense all the time. Like I'm not doing research or anything, but I have that background as a degree, right? And I encounter lots of people who have no background in that. And when I talk to them, they say things just so erroneously or cite things that are so erroneous that I feel like I guess I would feel the way a climatologist would feel when somebody's trying to argue global warming. It's like, well, no, but like this, you know, like just trust us on this. Like we've done the research.
You'll start like quoting fucking studies that like. Who?
Yeah, what? Huh?
Like, they'll look at you with a monkey with a math problem.
Like the drug prohibition stuff, right? Yeah. Like that's a big and hot topic lately. And
the drug war.
I did get in a conversation with a family member about that recently, and they were like kind of a little skeptic and stuff. Like they're kind of like, oh, well, you know, we like Trudeau, but that was kind of the thing we were just, you know, maybe he shouldn't have done that. And I was like, well,
the drug war is over. Drugs won.
Well, yeah, and I gave them like reason after reason after reason after reason, but again, I think there's still the generation prior to us still has some reservations.
Well, because they've had 40, 50 years of demon weed.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's right.
So I mean,
hugs, not drugs.
Well, but that's the difference.
Just say
too,
no.
right? Because I mean, it's hard for us as, say, lay people necessarily to interpret the evidence. Not you as a social scientist, you know what you're talking about with that area. But when it comes to climate change, it's important to note that it's not just a poll of scientists.
No,
it's not just 97% of scientists.
It's all climatologists.
It's all climatologists, and it's 97% of research shows that climate change, anthropogenic climate change, is a thing.
Yeah. Also,
and that's the consensus of all the evidence and scientists.
And when it comes to
agree on
skepticism,
that. And that's the same thing with the social sciences have that kind of thing too, where it's not just a poll of the social scientists. It's the evidence all points in this direction.
Yeah.
And
so let's go explore that direction instead of this other one that we already debunked a long time ago.
Yeah.
Well, and
we're over here and you're over there.
Yeah, exactly.
And getting back to what was the thing you were talking about?
Intellectual
dishonesty.
Yeah.
The thing with skepticism is if you understand anything with skepticism, is intellectual dishonesty is almost impossible. Because the way we view things is we won't take a position, or we try not to, until we've actually read up on it and read credible sources that have been peer reviewed, or that have been what's that word where a scientist read the article and then
they'll submit it. Published?
No.
Beyond peer reviewed.
I thought you
it is peer reviewed, but where it's been peer reviewed like 72 times.
Cited.
Cited, thank you. So if something's been cited by somebody in that field 67 times, like this one article,
right,
there's a pretty good chance it's accurate, right? And we try to not take positions, and we'll change our position once we see other evidence. So I say that's intellectual honesty, especially since you have to always be questioning your own things that you think and the way you think. But what I was going to get at there is with the people that are on the other side of the fence, I think the intellectual dishonesty would rest more there, because we don't have any I can't brain. I haven't slept in 2 days. Dissonance. Cognitive dissonance in those things, because we accept change and we change our minds, where they will argue even though they know they're wrong, specifically to avoid cognitive dissonance. Right? They'll hold to their position so they don't have to question their position.
Yeah,
that's intellectual dishonesty.
The uncomfortableness of that.
Yeah,
is something people like to
and
avoid.
if you're adamant about your position, you don't think about that. Anyway, that's bonus content.
Yeah,
it would have been
probably the smartest conversation we had all night.
Yeah.
That's pretty sad.
That was stupid.
That was stupid.
Dick.
Insert dick joke.
Bonus.
Where's the dick joke? Waiting for the dick joke.
Bonus content. I'll show you my bonus content.
There's the dick joke.
There's the dick joke.
I thought that had to do with tuna.
Yeah, I don't know. I find that, I mean, and some issues are more murky than others. But when you've heard an argument over and over again, and when you've refuted it, I still don't feel that you need to look into a particular, that same argument again, just reiterated.
Right. I'm not going to go and go, oh, wait, you posted this thing about how genetically modifying corn is a terrible thing. I'm not going to read that.
No, that's right.
Because I've already read like dozens of articles
for and against.
Yeah.
Like I shouldn't have to read another one.
Yeah, I guess that's actually a really good point, because that's in the social sciences for sure, like people will bring up like the issue again that's been like I'm talking about with the prohibition thing, well, what about this thing, and it's like, no, we talked about that 10 years ago. And,
Right.
and we moved past that, and yeah, you're right. Like now, just bringing it up again means I should pay attention to it again, and that doesn't make sense. Like,
Yeah, no. We've dealt with that. Get out of here.
Yeah. But the problem with government, I'm going to say,
for sure,
is that government can't learn. It's not that they don't learn. It's not that government's stupid. It's government itself cannot learn, because government is only a reflection of the people of the time. So you had prohibition in the 20s and 30s.
God, yeah. Well, just look at it. Like,
right? Was it the 20s and 30s, prohibition?
20s.
20s.
It's so obvious.
Yeah, and it didn't work.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
People drank underground in nefarious places.
We have a
speakeasies
fucking
and-
tour guide in Moose Jaw that tells you all about the illegal alcohol trade. Like,
Right, and there were gunfights and people died over it. Over fucking beer.
Yeah.
Bathtub gin.
And somebody in a modern context look at that as ridiculous because of how normal it is right now.
But we have to ban marijuana.
Yeah.
Which, if you look into the history of it, the reason why they banned marijuana,
One of the reasons. One of
them was
the competition with
fucking
cotton.
Hearst, William Randolph Hearst, because he owned paper. He didn't want hemp.
He wanted cotton.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, no, it does get frustrating because I think people just
Who else knows that?
people just assume they can talk about something and bring up their opinion, and then instantly it's like, I should have some debate over that or something, and it's just like I don't need to be a dick about it all the time, but I mean, it's just kind of saying, well,
no, opinions aren't valid. Knowledge is.
Yeah, right. So,
well, I mean, it's like it happens all the time when people have these ideas and when they want to debate you, they don't really want to debate you, because then if you disagree with them, it's like, well, you just don't understand.
Yeah.
You just don't understand.
I talk about with my wife and I, we have some disagreements about some things because
she's wrong.
Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes she is, right? And
there's that possibility, I suppose.
But I think the obvious thing is like anytime we have a discussion about these things, I allow her to like tell me about it a bit, and then
you allow her.
Well, no, I mean, like I don't like shut her down. I don't shut her down. Is what I'm saying.
Nicely done.
Fuck you. No, but I mean, I let her have that discussion, and fuck off. Like I don't shut the discussion down.
No.
So she'll talk to me, and I mean, I come from a science background. That's I spent years of learning that.
As a good Chilean would.
Of course, we're all social scientists in Chile. But anyway, so like sometimes she'll give me these articles or talk about some things, and she gets a little frustrated because I'm just like instantly like, well. And then I can point out very quickly.
As a skeptic, he is one to do.
Well, yeah, and that's what I tell her. I'm just like, I'm supposed to be skeptical. Like that's what I do. But then like I can point out at the very least to her, like, well, have you thought about this and how this connects to this? Like the science aspect of it. Like, so they're claiming this. How can they claim this when this? Those kinds of things. Like it's, and I think it is helpful to someone like that if they're open to hearing that.
So are you saying that works better than saying, no, you're stupid?
Exactly, right? Because she has come
science.
She has come around a little bit, like into saying, like, oh, well, okay. Like I said to her, I was like, I think it'd be awesome if you could learn the scientific method a little more clearly, so you could evaluate things a little more from that position rather than just like getting excited about something. Because that's the
beautiful
right?
thing about that, about what you just said, about learning the scientific method is in social sciences, it's almost impossible to apply the scientific method.
Almost, but not
almost
quite.
impossible.
Not quite. Well, I think
because the variables are so fluid.
The variables are very difficult to account for.
Yeah, that's the only. I mean, the scientific method is easy to apply. It's just hard to eliminate all the variables properly.
And that's why in the social science field we're not as hugely prescriptive anymore. Like we're very much okay. So this is where the evidence is leaning. Best practices would suggest that this is probably where we should direct our efforts.
It's more dynamic.
And it's not going to be perfect. Yeah, you're right. It's really dynamic. I mean, but in the end, it's like rather than having 20% efficiency, we're going to have 60% efficiency. Yeah.
Right.
And we're going to take that 60% over the 20%, right?
Well, and it's evolved.
Like
it used to be like, well, we know this works 80% of the time, so we're just going to do that all the time. Now it's like we know this works 80% of the time, but it's because of this that it works. So in this situation, that's not going to work. So we have to look at something else. And
And
that's exactly how it works.
And I think that's
Says
something.
a guy that doesn't know it.
I mean, it's something that I hope in my field we're learning a little more when we talk about treatment or talk about interventions, whatever, all that stuff. I think we're getting better at becoming more specific for different things. Like you can't say, okay, here's this assessment that we've made, and everybody has to fit in these boxes. And then we're going to proceed because of these boxes. It's like we kind of have to realize, no, this is a tool that will highlight some things for us, that will illuminate some things, but ultimately every individual is going to come attached with different things that will affect the effectiveness of our assessment.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think we're learning, the mentality of that, but then there's still a lot of people in bureaucracies and different things that think that we need to have something that is like tick a box, and that's all.
Well, that's because they don't understand that things like social sciences, psychology, they're not a hard science.
Exactly, they're not, and they can't be viewed like that. Like, and when I spent time in corrections, they have a whole like scientific wing. Basically,
He was in corrections,
working for corrections.
Cell block,
yes. CB4.
He's got some tats.
No, just kidding. But
he's the guy to go to.
They actually have like PhD, psychologists and blah blah blah, like the kind of a science wing. But they kind of come down from a position of this is the research we have, and the way they word it sometimes, it's like almost like this absolute. This prevents this. This does this.
Right, rather than a best practices type idea.
Well, and the thing with that is, what's that place called where you were?
Corrections.
That's the problem right there.
I know.
It's called corrections.
Yeah.
We're correcting. Because there was like one time when and I'm going off now, but when I was working for Corrections Young Offender Program, they have something called the Community Safety Plan that they do. And it's a nice little tool, I guess. You kind of get a sense of what kind of things have been assessed, what kind of intervention direction should happen, blah 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 blah. But in the end, then they started to claim they claimed that a good community safety plan, like the tool itself, when it was made well with a person, it lowered recidivism. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was like, so you're saying this tool that's well made on file is what's because it's well made with the client that lowered recidivism?
That doesn't make sense.
And it's like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. I was like, you think this hood kid,
I'm an idiot car salesman, and that doesn't make sense.
Well, you think this hood kid looks at this fucking piece of paper and goes, oh, this is really well made. Now I have a good plan. It's like, fuck that.
I'm going to be a good person and not commit crimes.
It's like and that's just them wanting to propagate the system they've had.
Well, the problem is with bureaucrats is ultimately it's marketing. They're trying to sell stuff, right?
Well, and that's the devious part of it, is that these guys make money every time we do these fucking things.
Yeah.
The people who wrote it get royalties every time an assessment is done, every time the safety plan is done. So of course they're going to push the shit out of it, right?
Speaking about a great thing with royalties and money in the correction system, Obama is trying to get rid of privatized prisons.
Nice.
That is still one of the stupidest fucking things I've ever.
Yeah, there's no conflict of interest by privatizing homes for criminals.
So this is the one time in the social sciences, where you can have quotes unquote big psychology or whatever come in and fuck around because of the money involved. Like, I mean, I've seen it happen. I've been a part of it, right? So.
Well, it's kind of the same thing, right? Like, I mean, they all want to have that thing named after them, right? Like,
yeah.
Well, we have a 80% non-recidivism rate by using the whatever method,
the never letting them out method.
Yeah.
And it's like, like there's some validity to what they say, and I don't discount everything they say, because obviously the tool has some science behind it, and it's interesting. But then if it becomes too prescriptive, you just totally lose sight of the demographics you're dealing with, the economy, the on and on and on and on. There's so many things, and probably the most erroneous part of it is that they found a way to show with data that apparently poverty has no connection to criminal activity.
How can that be?
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
I know, and it sounds absolutely ridiculous, right? And it's like, and then I sit there and go to myself, but all the clients I'm working with are poor as fuck. I'm like, oh yeah, but that's not an indicator. I'm like,
what do you mean?
How is that not an indicator? I'm confused.
Well, I mean, I think what throws it off is white collar crime.
Maybe.
Yeah. But it's
that accounts for more money.
Yeah.
But then it's like 80% of my clients are First Nations youth from the hood. I'm just like, well, so you're telling me there's absolutely that correlation has no scientific validity? And
as if, eh?
There's got to be more to it than that, you know. And yeah. So I mean, like, I guess there's people who are poor who don't get to that point, and that's fine.
Or people that are poor that do crime not because they're poor for.
Isn't that what we call an outlier? Like when, you know,
exactly.
When applying the statistics,
but then they have
need outliers.
Yeah, then they have data that shows that no, like our the validity of that statistic is wrong. It's like blah 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 blah. So I don't know. I kind of I'm not sure what the answer is there, because
what they should do is take those people, take all their money away.
Yeah. Exactly.
Not feed them for 2 weeks or for a week,
and see what happens,
and give them a knife.
Yeah. And you're going to tell me that the indicator is a bad family life suddenly? Like, no, it wasn't that. It was like, you're fucking poor now and you need to survive.
Isn't it odd though that poor families and bad family lives and crime seem to be correlated? All three factors.
Well, yeah, all the time. Like, you know, like a majority of the time.
Isn't that odd? Like, yeah, okay, so bad family factor might be part of it, but I mean, that's still a socioeconomic issue, right?
And there are other research bodies that are more in line with that are saying, like, when you reduce poverty and opportunity and blah 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 and all these things, when you bring up the community, you lower all of these other social issues.
That's right.
And they have evidence to show that. So I mean, I don't understand. Like obviously you can't just give people money alone after they've been traumatized and expect it to work. But,
right.
But there's more to poverty than just giving money. Like it's
well, and okay, so you deal mostly with First Nations youth, right?
Yeah.
Do these people not even understand how First Nation community works?
Well, yeah,
right.
They could just pull themselves up by the bootstraps. No.
In First Nation community, there is no ownership, right? And that's the way.
Yeah, that's historical.
Well, no, but the basis of the ideals, right? So, and there's a lot of sharing. There's a lot of sharing.
And in Saskatchewan culture, we're open and accepting and loving. You know, like, I mean, there's a lot of, we could, like, within every cultural group, there's the ideals. And then there's the realities. So
yeah, no, but if you took the inner city Native youth, like basically take the hood, because unfortunately they're all relegated to the hood, and if they didn't have the economic issues that they have, there would be less crime, obviously, right?
Yeah,
and I've had friends that live in reserves on reserves that are decently managed, where there isn't a ton of poverty, but there's still not a lot of wealth. And, you know, when one guy owns a car, there's no way he's the only driver of that car. That car gets driven by 50 or 60 people. It's a community thing.
I do see that
right?
a lot,
And if you had more people without the poverty issue, there'd be more sharing and less crime. I don't know where I was going with that.
I think it's an interesting idea, like the idea that perhaps we could. I don't know. I don't know where you're going with it either, but it's interesting idea. Okay, we're gonna shut this down, and we're gonna move on to our bonus content.
Oh, I thought that was the bonus.
No, this is just finalizing our actual show.
Oh,
we saved the best for the last like 20 minutes.
Yeah, we got a thing. Does anybody who has a place where people can find them online? Do you have a thing?
Facebook?
Okay, well then, what's your Facebook? Tell the listeners how to find you.
Shit, I don't know.
They don't want to see my memes about me liking.
Go to Facebook and it's under Destin Conrad.
Okay, there you go.
No one wants to see.
If you want me to plug myself, you should definitely tell me that I'm going to have to plug myself.
What do you have?
I got nothing.
Well, then get a thing.
I got my used car website. You want to plug my used car website?
Okay.
No, it sucks. You don't want to
Okay,
plug my
well
used car
then
website.
get a thing. Everybody get a thing.
Roman Empire Studios.
Roman Empire Studios.
That's
Dave's
my
the only
thing.
thing that's got a thing to plug.
Follow the thing.
I am the plug.
What else do we got? Any Shift to Reason updates?
Shift to Reason still exists.
I think we're in the process of contacting speakers.
Yeah. Though, from where we were last year compared to where we are this year, we're way behind where we were last year. That being said, organizing's a little easier now because it's been done once.
Yeah.
It won't be as hard to do. But we probably need to, once we have the tally in on who we're going to try to get for speakers, I think within a few days we should get tickets up for sale so we can make sure that we can actually be able to do it.
Once we lock down our speakers and our venue,
yeah,
then we will set up ticket sales. Get your bonus content, full length ad free episodes, and other bonuses by becoming a patron at patreon.com/brainstormpodcast. Just like Daryl, Josh, Will, Rob, Nathan, and now Gumby.
Yo. And Corey.
Well, I'm going to end mine. It's not worth the value.
It's not worth charging yourself to give yourself money.
Yeah, like my $3 doesn't give me $3 back.
Of course not. You get like $2 back.
So, yeah, now that we actually have a few patrons, and I'm going to end mine.
Once we get a few more, I'll end mine and I'll just start throwing money at it.
There you go.
Don't end it. Being a patron's great. Everybody
also,
gives money.
yes, being a patron is great.
The show does cost a lot to produce.
Yeah, it does cost a bit. You can join us for the next live broadcast by following us on Spreaker. Just put in Brainstorm Podcast into the Spreaker search bar, or you can go to our website and check out the live show page. Our website is brainstormblog.net. We have very comprehensive show notes for anybody who wants to check them out. Like, the most comprehensive show notes I've seen for a podcast.
Full breakdowns, disclosures, everything.
Links to almost everything that we cover, as well as opinions that I've written down and thoughts.
You remember back in the day when I would just say that it would be in the show notes?
And it wasn't? Yeah, I remember that.
Corey will have that in the show notes for you after.
The Alberta Secular Conference is happening today and tomorrow, and if you're in Alberta, then you should be there instead of listening to us.
Yeah. Especially since if you're in Alberta, you probably don't have a job, so you might as well go.
Oh, cheap shot.
Low blow. For more information, you can check out their Facebook page at AB Secular Conference on Facebook.com. Rate us, write a review. We have a couple reviews. Randy Lamonda on Twitter.
Yep.
He wrote his review is a 5-star review, and it's titled "This is cool, but not because it's from Canada." And his iTunes name is Peace Be Upon Him. And it says, "I enjoy this. It's fun and entertaining. I even learned some stuff. It reminds me of Atheist Airwaves." And then there's somebody else said whose their username is Nous Sommes du Solier. It says, "Fun, interesting conversation, 5 stars. I hope this isn't premature. Listened to 2 podcasts and enjoyed it as much as any other conversational topical secular podcast. It sounds honest. Typical Canadians. Kidding. It's a stereotype.
That's fair.
That's a stereotype.
Yeah, typical.
I might binge them like I just found out about Breaking Bad. I may have found a POV from our Canadian neighbors that feels like we're out one night riding in the same car talking about who knows what."
That is very much how our show really is.
Now that's probably the most
honest,
legit,
pretty apt.
That's pretty apt, yeah.
We usually have supper before the show. I didn't go tonight because I had stuff to do, but our pre-show suppers are very similar to the actual show.
They should almost be recorded. You should just have a Zoom recorder on the table.
We just bring takeout.
Yeah.
Just bring takeout. To put up spit mics or spit protectors over the mics.
No.
I think that's why Dave has socks all over the floor.
So if you want your review to be read on the air, then write it on iTunes and let us know. And let us know which store it's in, because sometimes it's not as easy to find the U.S. reviews. Because if I just go to our store or iTunes, it brings up the Canadian store.
And please share our show to anybody that you know might be interested in it.
Yeah. Not this episode, but maybe a good one.
Like a good one. Not last one or not the one before.
I'm sure we have
3
one.
ago was
okay,
good.
find a good one and then share that.
I recommend Ace Team.
Yeah, that's a funny one. That's a long time ago now.
I like the Richard Carrier episode. That's one of my faves.
Ooh, that's a long time ago too.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've been good.
All right. Thanks, Dave, for our intro music. Thanks, Alex Capper Murdoch, for doing the voiceover for the intro and some of our ads. And thanks to Jason Camo for the outro music. You can find his stuff at aloststateofmind.com. All music played is either with permission or under the SOCAN license to play. You can find more information about that on our website.
Oh, one plug I want to throw into the main show.
Okay.
Dusty.
Hen and Fent?
Hen and Fent. If you have a chance, Google that. She was on our show a year ago?
Just about
a year ago. She was fighting to have the Lord's Prayer removed from her school and finally succeeded. It's on Global. You can find it on Regina Global. If you Google that, it'll have be one of the top stories from the week.
Okay. And t-shirts, mugs, and cool shit available at cafepress.ca/brainstormpodcastgear. And send us an email. It's super cool when we hear from our listeners.
I love how that's plural now.
Yeah, hey? Yeah, there's like more than one. And you can email us at mail@brainstormblog.net or go to the website and hit that contact page. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in a couple weeks when we have Rick Key from the Secular Barbershop joining us.
That'll be cool.
And I am sure he will join us. He will be here. I've talked to him a few times, and he said he will be here.
Yeah. Well, you know, Ricky, he's so fine. Hey, Ricky.
Oh, you had to go for that. You had to go for that joke.
Okay, I'm glad you said that he sucks, because I was going to say that you suck. Okay, you didn't say that he sucks, but I got it.
That was
the
kind of
impression I
it. That was kind of.
All right, thanks for listening. Catch you next time.
Wanted to say thanks to everyone who listens to us, shares the show, gives us a rating on iTunes or Stitcher, or supports us through Patreon and Gumroad. We don't have a lot of interaction sometimes with our listeners, but what we have had proves that we attract some of the best people around. Smart, kind, and cool. An audience truly worthy of the titles hardcore and woo-free. Thanks for helping us make the world a smarter place.
This is an opinion-based podcast. Each person on the podcast is responsible for their own opinions, and those opinions don't necessarily reflect the views of the rest of the panel. Any guests or anyone associated with the people on the podcast, such as spouses, partners, children, other family members, friends, or employers. No one person speaks for the podcast with the possible exception of Corey, and he doesn't speak for anyone else on the show. The Brainstorm podcast does not represent the views of our sponsors.